After riding the scooters in Korea, I went ahead and picked this up. I'm gonna keep this in my truck, and every time I need to go somewhere at a truck stop, I'm gonna be getting on this thing, and hopefully it'll make my life a lot more convenient. Being able to go places away from a truck stop and being able to buy simple things at like the grocery store, Target, or whatever, or pick up food or meals without having to get an Uber ride. So yeah, I will let you know how this is after I unbox it and put it together and take it for a spin. All right, so I got this thing set up. Seems pretty cool. It's got an interesting display. It's got the headlamp on here. The tail lamp as well turns on. Give this a spin, tell you how it is. So this is how the unit looks collapsed. Weighs about, I think, like 40 pounds or so. It's a little heavy, but still, you wanted a little weight on there so it's sturdy. And yeah, so far so good. I gave it a ride. It went up the hill, came down the hill. Probably don't want to do too many hills, so yeah, wheels are big enough. I don't think anything's gonna get me to eat it, hitting rocks or anything like that, hopefully. But yeah, I'll give this for a test spin when I'm in the truck as well. Hopefully this fits nicely up on the top bunk without any problems and doesn't fall off or anything. I'm probably gonna use that cardboard to keep it stationary up there, the box it came in. Anyway, so the Phantom 810 electric standing scooter, it's got a dual brake system which has a front drum and rear EABS anti-lock braking system. It has 10-inch tires. It is a 400-watt brushless motor. It's got a lithium-ion battery, and it's supposed to have a range of up to 28 miles on a single charge. The maximum speed cuts off at 15 miles per hour, so you can't go above that. And unfortunately, if you're over 220 pounds, the max load is 220 pounds. I think it weighs like about 40 pounds. So my thoughts on this is that the headlamp and tail light definitely is a nice feature to have when you're riding around at night. And then the ride itself is not bad. I mean, it's not the greatest. It's only 30 something pounds or 40 pounds, so you're not going to get a whole lot of stability, but it's good enough for short runs. You're not going to go long distance with this thing anyway, but it's good for a quick run to the market or to get your food, whatever, because when you get to a truck stop, you don't have too many options. This gives you options to go a little bit away from the truck stop. You clock out and then you ride for a mile or two or three in my case. This time it was about 3 miles away and then came back. Got to be a little careful. I got a helmet, attached the GoPro on top of the helmet, and some streets, especially in industrial areas, they don't really maintain the roads and the sidewalks too well, so I don't think I'll be using this every day. I think it's one of those things where, when you want to go and do something, go and get something, you have it at your disposal. It's like when you have a big yacht and then you got a small motorboat attached to it. You're not going off on the motorboat all the time. You're using the yacht. So I got the truck. Anytime I need to go somewhere away from the truck to pick up something, sometimes you can't eat the same old. I mean, you meal prep, but at the same time, some of the meals you have to pick up at the truck stops, and you're hitting the same truck stops over and over again. So, if you have to go about a mile away to pick up something good or different, it's worth it. So this is a good option. We'll see over time how valuable this is, or if this was just a impulse purchase and a waste of money and just another thing that's gonna sit in the garage. But I'll keep you posted. I'll put some footages on. Unfortunately, this footage at night is very dark, and but I thought I would share it with you anyway. That's right. You know what time it is. It's time for Business Spies. Business Spies. Commitments. The first commitment is starting that business or pulling the trigger on that idea. You can't go into it half-assed. It's got to be all in, or it's got to be a gradual process that progresses over time. So some businesses, you just go in head first. Other businesses, you start it off sometimes gradually as a hobby, and over time it progresses into something lucrative. And but no matter what, at some point, either in the beginning or gradually over time, you're going to make a commitment. So this commitment to start the business is the major commitment, whether you're all in or not. Then usually in most businesses, there's 3 sub-commitments, which are all very important commitments. So it'll be like this: location, property, people, employees, ownership, partnerships, and investors. So quickly on location, once you sign on that dotted line, whether it's a purchase or a lease, you're committed. This is, you don't just jump into a location. It's very hard to back out of a location once you have to basically do your due diligence. and make sure this is the right place for you and this is the most optimal place for you. You know, a lot of people, they don't, these days, they don't need a location. They can do it online, you know, but you still have sometimes office space or inventory space and whatnot. So you still need location. Sometimes that's your home office. But before you commit to a location, make sure you do your due diligence. And with any of these points, there are no guarantees in life. You could do the best research, you could have the best location, best people, best partners, whatever, and there are no guarantees. Things will go sour from time to time. Things will go bad. So when you get that location, is it going to adapt with you, with your potential growth, or are you getting into something too big, thinking that it's going to, oh, I'm going to grow so fast, we're going to need this big area. But in reality, you end up spending way too much paying for the property and not making enough money because you're not growing as fast as you thought you would. So these are things that you have to almost, yeah, there's an element of risk. It's a gamble. But at the same time, you want to be accurate. Or if you can find things where you can scale, it's very important. You know, that could be a key. Now, the second thing is employees. And a lot of times our first employees are people we actually know and we trust. And then there's also people that we hire that kind of fill our gaps, people with certain types of skill sets and talents and whatnot. And employee, you know, that's a whole nother huge can of worms. It's a whole nother topic in and of itself. Now, before you commit to these employees, make sure that business is business. You know, you have to cover yourself and you have to actually treat them with respect. And it's got to be a mutually beneficial situation where one person doesn't screw over the other and the other doesn't get screwed over. You know, it's in this day and age, I've seen people you hire that are friends or family and things will sour really fast and then relationships get busted up. It's not good. You know, there are times when it's great. You know, Uncle so-and-so is taking care of the shop while I take care of all of the, you know, development in the back end. You know, it's like, and there's this trust and there's this rhythm going and everybody's happy, you know, but every once in a while you've got a situation where Uncle so-and-so didn't show up to work because he had a personal matter and because you're close, he knows that you would understand, but that hurts your business, you know, and these are small things, but then there's big things too, where you get into a fight or you get into a trust issue or something happens and it doesn't get pretty and you have to cover your bases too. Legally speaking, you know, get employment contracts, cover yourselves, both sides, you know, and make sure that you're doing things on the up and up. Don't shortchange people. Don't not pay them what they're due. You know, make sure that they have some vacation time and things like that. All those things are important. You got to think about all that stuff before you hire people. If you just haphazardly hire people, then you might get in over your head. Sometimes, you know, we put the cart before the horse and we're thinking, oh, we're going to grow. We need to hire people. And you do it and you realize, I know nothing about HR. You know, I know nothing about employment laws, you know, and these things, even if you have one employee, two employees, they matter. And so you have to, again, do your due diligence and at the same time, be prepared before you hire. Okay. Now, the third thing is partnerships, investors, you know, getting other people involved so that you could fund your business or you could have a co-op where you can grow the business a certain way. Now, I'll tell you, this is very, very tricky. I've seen situations where, you know, sometimes you have a group of investors and somebody with the smallest stake, they make the biggest stink. And I've seen situations where people come together, you know, they have close relationships and they have the best of intentions. And because of money, because of business, because of decision making, because of disagreements, it goes sour really fast. I've seen other situations where people, because they seek out like venture capitalists or people that want to invest money, they feel like, oh, we're going to give you a certain return or a certain percentage. And then they just burn through that money really fast. And then you realize they don't really care about these people. They don't have a relationship with them. If they fail and file bankruptcy, they're not going to see these people again. And so there's no sense of integrity. There's no sense of accountability and responsibility at the level that it should be. Because if they're putting in, some of these people putting in their life savings, or some of these people putting in millions of dollars or a lot of money into your idea, into your plan, and then you treat it like nothing, like it's monopoly money, you know? And you go ahead and play this game, scratch this itch and go, oh, it didn't work out, you know? And then we'll legally block these things or legally defend ourselves when they come after us, you know? And there's this BS factor because when you wanted the money, you did the song and dance, you did the show, you did the presentation, and basically sold them a dream. And then when it came to reality, where you had to work and implement this from going point A to B to C to D, you failed. And you didn't care as much. You didn't take it as serious as you should have. These things happen. And so who you get in bed with, who you lock hands with is very important. And then just as important as how you might get screwed over from them, you have to be honest with yourself that you're not screwing other people over. It matters. It matters. So make sure you think long and hard before you join forces with people. Now, those are just some basic ones. And I just wanted to throw that out there so that you can it can create a dialogue with people you talk to, or you can actually think about these things, and how it applies to your potential business idea. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for listening to this week's Business Bites. Yeah, so this week we had it all. We had some rain, as you can see, and we also had warm days, I think in the mid 80s in some parts, and we also had some cold nights, or cold mornings actually, like low 40s, mid 40s. So we had a variety of different types of weather. Now, you could see in this video that the scenery that I got to enjoy because of the fluctuations in the weather were pretty incredible. I had some incredible sunsets and some crazy cloud patterns. Some of these drives are not dull at all. You get to get into a Zen mode, a relaxed mode, and really enjoy, God's beauty, God's nature, and it is pretty jaw-dropping at times. And there's nothing like, you can't really explain it with words, just being behind the wheel of a semi-truck and just coasting on the road that's pretty much wide open and enjoying the scenery. Yeah, it's been back and forth to Phoenix this week, but every day it's been a little bit different, and it's been very nice. Good to enjoy. Yeah, it's finally raining here, San Bernardino. It's Friday, November the 15th, and yeah, it's starting to come down. Arizona has no forecast of rain, but right here in the San Bernardino area, it's raining. I'm so glad I got this Schneider rain jacket. I got soaked out there. It's crazy. I didn't expect this much rain to come down this week. Lucky I had this in the truck. All right, folks, it's Friday night. Everybody was talking about the big fight, the big fight, the big fight. Let me just say, some things at our age we should not be doing anymore. At 58, professional boxing, I don't care how good you were back in the day, it's not something you do anymore. What is going on, my people? Yeah, so this week I had about 2,200 miles total, out to the Phoenix, Arizona area and back. It was pretty consistent, drawn out. I wish they would give me less gaps, but it wasn't bad, all in all. What it did do was run me late into Saturday and have me deliver my last load on Tuesday. So I've been starting the last 2 weeks on Monday, and pretty much they're not allowing me to start on Monday this time. I'm forced to start on Tuesday. So that was my week this week, and it wasn't too bad. Just consistent driving, but 350 miles, 370 miles, something like that every day. So it's kind of cheesy. I did 6 runs, but I want to try to get to like at least 500 a day, and do that in like 5 days. That's kind of like the goal, but it's not even like a top goal. It's just something that I would be satisfied with. So it is what it is. I don't mind going into the 6th day, but in terms of one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about is that being adaptable, being able to adapt to your situation and making changes, accommodating sometimes BS. I think when people are gung-ho, they'll make things work. Last week I was talking about you're not really going through stuff that you can't handle. Yeah. Most of the times we can't handle it. We just don't want to handle it because it's BS, and we don't want to be in the receiving end of BS. And so it's like that in even relationships and marriage. It's easier for people to divorce and quit or leave and break up than it is for us to change, because if we changed, we could probably put up with that other person and make it work. When we're first dating, we'll make it work no matter what. After we've been in that relationship for quite some time, we're sick of putting up with the BS because it feels like they don't care and they're not adapting or changing. But the thing is a lot of times changes happen at different times, not necessarily when we expect that change to happen or things to get better or them to act a certain way when we think they should, or when we think, when we demand it. A lot of times we have to be the ones being flexible. And if we're not flexible, if we're not adapting, if we're not accommodating, yeah, we'll just say screw this and leave. And you know what? That's a choice that we have to make, because you shouldn't be a doormat. You need to make sure that when you're on the receiving end, it's obviously blatant, or if it's not good, then it's time to say screw this job. I'm done. But a lot of times, especially in trucking, I think we get a little bit myopic. We think a lot about certain situations, and we let it bother us a lot more than it should. And so I'm going to encourage you guys to be flexible, because you could change yourself. You could adapt. You could be more energetic. You could make things happen. But step outside of the box once in a while and think about it. Don't do things you shouldn't be doing on a prolonged basis. Make sure you communicate to them, whoever it is that you're dealing with, that this is not cool. Or if it's something you can adapt and it's not that big of a deal, just adapt and make that change. But if it's not cool, you need to let them know, hey, I don't do this. I don't work like this. And if you know that at another place, you know that you're not going to be treated that way, you need to make that move, you know? So I want to encourage you guys to be flexible, but also be smart about it. Don't be a doormat. A lot of times we don't last, not because we can't, because we just don't want to. And sometimes it's more prudent to make that change within ourselves and not expect the other people to change, or the company to change all the time. Sometimes we make that adjustment, and it's not too bad. That's part of life, and especially in your relationships, right? If you want that relationship to work, we have to accommodate those people, and we have to make changes. But like I said, there's people out there, they don't speak up. They don't have a voice. You need to speak up when it's not right. You need to speak up. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. Be flexible, know how to adapt, but at the same time, know your boundaries and don't be a doormat. Hope that helps you out. Thanks for following me on this journey. God bless you guys. Have a great week. Stay safe out there. Peace. Until next time. Cheers.